Thank you, Rams. Thank you. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to another episode of Podcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. The Packers are now number one in the NFL once again. Will that be reflected in the power rankings? Who knows? This is a really long intro. Grossi, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 teams heading in to week 15 in the NFL. First, before we get to that, I want to do a big shout out and thank you to some brand new YouTube members. We have Lucrin V and we have Sergio Reyes Sarmentia. A big shout out and thank you to you both. So, folks, here we are. 4 games left in the NFL season. No more bye weeks. The final teams had their bye weeks, and now, this week, we get Saturday football. That's right. In case you thought, hey, Sunday, Monday, Thursday's not enough, we get an extra day thrown in there. As we get into the heart of December, we're going to find out which of these teams are for real, and that hopefully will be reflected in these power rankings in this absolutely insane league this year. So, let's start off with number 10. Holding on in the top 10, you got the San Francisco 49ers, and the reason why I have them on here is because they're resilient, in which they had a bad loss against the Seahawks. They bounce back, have a game with the Bengals in which they're ahead. They allow the Bengals to claw their way back at it because they're cats. Kitty goes meow. They have claws unless you declaw, but by the way, don't declaw your animals. They allow them to come back, but OT, that was a 49ers playground. Some incredible, miraculous plays throughout this game. George Kittle absolutely tearing it up, had 151 yards and a touchdown. Jimmy G playing pretty well. But this team, without Elijah Mitchell, played really darn well, all things considered. I know we had the Chargers-Bengals game, and both those teams were inconsistent, but consistency is so hard to find in the NFL this season. It really is. You see some teams with these win streaks like the Chiefs, like the Patriots, the Washington football team had one, and it's just difficult to be that level of consistent every single week. And the 49ers, listen, they're still chilling. They're number 3 in the West, but they are at the number 6 seed in the NFC, a weak NFC conference this year. It's very top heavy. And so the 49ers, they hold on with a win that they definitely needed. And for right now, they remain at number 10. Number 9, you got the LA Chargers. Look at them. 8-5, second in the AFC West. A huge Thursday night football game against the Chiefs coming up, and they dominated the Giants. The Giants scored 14 in the fourth, but the game was most definitely over. Yeah, Herbert, great game. 3 touchdowns. Rocked it. Eckler, he had a big game as well. Had 67 yards and a touchdown. No Keenan Allen because he's on the COVIDs. And considering all the players that are coming down with COVID right now, Keenan Allen is not the only one. As I said before, this Thursday night game is going to be huge for playoff implications for the AFC West standings. And if the Chargers really want to prove themselves for real, the way that they can do that is by knocking off the Chiefs, who are on a great win streak right now. I think it's very doable, but the Chargers have also been very inconsistent. They beat a bad team in the New Jersey Giants this week. Now they're going up against a team who's red hot right now. Are they going to be able to get it done? Number 8, you got the Dallas Cowboys. Almost blew it to the Washington football team, and if Taylor Heineke stays in, maybe this is a different story here. And here's the thing. There's a lack of balance with the Dallas Cowboys right now. They remind me a little bit of the Seahawks from last year, in which either their defense plays well and their offense is bad, or their offense plays well and their defense plays bad. This week, their defense played amazingly well. Micah Parsons being like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm defensive rookie of the year. Easy. Playing his ass off. Offense, they struggled. Dak Prescott, 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, was sacked 4 times. And I think a lot of the reasons why the Cowboys aren't being taken seriously right now is because they really haven't shown that they're a great football team right now, because there is that lack of balance. Hell, look at the Saints game from a couple weeks ago. That Saints game, Taysom Hill had 4 interceptions, and the Saints still had a good opportunity to win that football game. And right now, the Saints are a battered and not really great team. So the Cowboys, who have kind of a walk in the park in the rest of their schedule, should be able to hang on to their division. I know they're going to be playing against divisional rivals these next 4 games, but the Cowboys, heading into the playoffs, I don't know if the confidence is there. They have the talent on the team for them to go far and be Super Bowl contenders. It's just a matter of, do they have the coach to put it all together? And as of right now, in week 15, I don't know if they do. Number 7, moving on up, you got the LA Rams. After losing the entire month of November and then beating the Jaguars last week, on the road, they defeat on Monday Night Football the Arizona Cardinals, a huge divisional win, and Stafford absolutely on fire. 287 yards, 3 touchdowns, Cooper Kupp over 100 yards once again. Sony Michel was effective in getting some hard-fought yards. And this was a team that you're like, oh, this is how the Rams are supposed to play. The defense played well. They made Kyler Murray's life pretty darn miserable. And the Rams, they just played a better football game than the fracking Cardinals. The Rams are going to need this kind of momentum heading into the playoffs, considering how sus they have been over this past month. But right now, they have a big win, so they get celebrated. Now, can they win their division? Probably not, but it's all about getting that momentum heading into January. Number 6, you got the Tennessee Titans. The Titans coming off a bye and then taking on the Jaguars and shutting them out. You know, it also helps when Urban Meyer is the head coach of the Jaguars and is playing absolutely awful. It also helps when the Titans defense came to frack and play. 4 interceptions for the defense right now. Tannehill had a really solid game. They're currently the number 2 team in the AFC, and the Colts, they're creeping up bit by bit by bit. They have a big game against the Patriots coming up this week. I almost put the Colts in at number 10. The Titans, thankfully, don't have to play the Colts anymore, and they have it all in front of them. They should be able to win their division, but I know they're really banged up right now. But maybe if they get healthy as the season comes to a close, maybe they can make a playoff run. It's just going to be about what Mike Vrabel can do with the players he has. Number 5, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, who kept on rolling, and they steamrolled the Vegas Raiders, who decided to have a little team meeting on their logo, which never ends well. And the game ended in scoregami with 48-9. Mahomes played pretty well, but honestly, this was about the defense here. 4 sacks, had an interception, 5 turnovers total for the Raiders, who just had a disastrous game all around. The defense has been the consistent factor in all of their wins on this win streak. The offense, sometimes they show up and they do well, but this game, the offense was solid. Mahomes spread the ball around, and their defense was able to come in really, really great for them again. As I mentioned with the Chargers game, big divisional game this Thursday, and a win here for the Chiefs, well, that pretty much would wrap up the division. But then again, who knows, because the AFC West is literally chaos. Number 4, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A real weird game for the Buccaneers. Absolutely dominated in the first half, destroying the Bills, and then got destroyed in the second half of that game. A little 24-3 just got flipped every single half. And this was a game that the officiating, yes, 100%, it was sus. Tom Brady played pretty darn well. A lot of checkdowns, but played pretty well. But the story comes down to Leonard Fournette again. 19 carries, 113 yards, 1 touchdown. Godwin over 100 yards. Mike Evans had 91 yards and a touchdown. And there's still no Antonio Brown. And you saw those flashes in the first half of how good this Buccaneers team can be. However, they did not play a 4-quarter game. They still won this game. They won in overtime because the Bills just couldn't capitalize and they didn't show up for the first half. Part of that is because of how well the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense played, and I think you also look to the O-line of the Bills. You look to a lot of different variables here. But the Buccaneers, they have a walk-in-the-park schedule for these next few games. They got some pretty damn easy games. They very much could win out, and they could get the number 1 seed. They need the Packers to lose in order for that to happen. But right now, the Buccaneers keep rolling, but it was a little bit too close for comfort. Number 3, you got the Arizona Cardinals. A little too late for the Cardinals here in a game that they should have won. two bad picks by Kyler Murray. I know one was tipped in the end zone, and because of that, they were able to not convert in points there. But just seemed questionable play calling at times. James Conner to continue to be a beast there. But Kyler Murray with his two picks, he struggled. Had some amazing throws and then had some really not great throws. Was overthrowing receivers, and they have so many weapons on that team. It just was a little bit of a head scratcher to see how this kind of played out. Kyler Murray was sacked 4 times in this game. Kupp was great. OBJ was great for the Rams. The Cardinals could not cover either of them. And listen, they're still leading the West. They have 2 tough games to go. They just need to rely on the Packers to lose, and the Buccaneers, they need them to lose as well. But the Cardinals, if they're not able to win those 2 games, they're a little bit vulnerable here. Now, I know they've been having an amazing away record this season, but heading into the playoffs, at least they're going to get a little bit more healthy, and we'll see what they can do there. Number 2, you got the New England Patriots. They had a bye week this week, and hell, it all worked out for them. The Bills, they lost, so the Patriots continue to stay atop the AFC East. They got 2 tough games left. They got the Colts, and then they got the Bills. So Saturday, they're going to play the Colts. That should be a really fun game. And then they got the Bills again. Then they have 2 easy games in the Jags. And the Dolphins, that could go either way. They lost earlier this season. The Dolphins have shown that they could be really good. That game could go either way. They technically could win their division, and remain number 1 in the AFC. And considering how inconsistent the AFC is this year, you might just need a consistent team. And right now, Bill Belichick's squad is consistent. It doesn't matter how many times Mac Jones throws the ball, they're winning football games. So the Patriots, they're looking like a damn good football team, and we'll see who can stop them come January. And number 1, finally, coming back to the top of the power rankings, you got the number 1 team in the NFC, the number 1 team in the NFL, and that is the Green Bay mother-loving Packers. And you might be saying, Tom, they struggled against the Bears, and here's what I'm going to tell you. Yes, in the first half, they struggled. But time and time again, just like they've done throughout this season, except the Saints game, they've battled back, fought through adversity, and came out victorious. And they not only battled back, they dominated that second half. After getting wrecked in the first half, they held the Bears to just 3 points. And that was because of special teams blunders in the second half. Really, really good performance. Rodgers, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns. Dillon didn't get as much action, but had some crucial runs. Aaron Jones got banged up in the second half, so you didn't see him a whole lot. Devontae Adams, over 100 yards yet again, 2 touchdowns. The big loss here, Billy Turner along that offensive line, so that really wasn't great. But yeah, Dennis Kelly come in, and he played pretty well. And the Packers still are a beat-up football team. No Randall Cobb. He's out, core muscle surgery. No Billy Turner now, ugly knee injury. Bakhtiari still not back. Z not back. Jair not back. However, Rasul Douglas, pick 6, back-to-back pick 6. The defense was really, really damn good in that second half. And this is a Packers team that could just beat you in a litany of ways. They have the run game, they have the pass game, and it doesn't matter who's along their offensive line. They adjusted, and they played really damn good football in that second half and in the second quarter. So the Packers, for me, they're going to get healthy at the right time. They get Jair back, they get Z back, they get Bakhtiari back. Hell, they get Josh Myers back. They're looking like a completely different team, and they're already so damn good. So right now, Packers, they're number 1 in the NFC, they're number 1 in the NFL, and they're number 1 in my power rankings. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you agree with this top 10? You think the Colts should be on here? Let me know. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy on all social media. See down below. Check out Patcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy and the YouTube members. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.